Joining the podcast is a friend of mine who I first met when I was probably about 11 years old at Nick Saban football camp. He's a Foley High School alum over there down by the beach where Julio went, and a former UAB quarterback, David Hendrick. What's going on, brother?
Hey, how's it going, man? Been a while. Been a few years, huh?
Yeah, been a while, been a while. Like I said, you went to Foley, but me and you kind of have some similar roots. You're originally from Gwinnett County, outside of Atlanta. When you transferred, did you feel like that would affect your recruiting process any?
A little bit, because a lot of people are familiar with Gwinnett County. I mean, they've produced crazy amount of athletes, in all sports. Football, basketball, baseball, um, soccer. I mean, we've put out a lot of kids out of that county. But then coming down here, somewhere like you said, Julio Jones played here, DJ Fluker, Robert Lester, Kenny Stabler. So there's a lot of rich history here as well. So. I didn't think it was going to impact me negatively. I thought it would still be, a positive experience because of having those big names, roll through here at one point.
Well, before you went to UAB, you went out to Cali, played some JUCO ball out there at Fullerton College, and you won a national championship. Tell me about that.
Yeah, yeah. So it's a little weird with California junior colleges, right? It's not a part of the NJCAA. So, our natties claimed, but I guarantee you if we played anybody from the NJCAA that year, we would have smacked them. I mean, we put up like 63 points a game, like 600 yards a game. I mean, our team was impressive. We put out a ton of kids from that team. Shout out to all my Fullerton boys, man. That was a fun time. That was one of the best years of my life.
Who were some of your teammates on that team? Did anybody follow you to UAB?
Actually, yeah. So, two receivers of mine went to UAB. That's actually they're the reason I even went there in the first place. That's a funny story. But then we had let's see, Caleb Johnson. He just played his last year at Miami. So he's going to the draft this year. We had a bunch of kids, man. I'm trying to think who else is like who went big out of there. I mean, we had several Power Five guys,
I mean,
but
what was the
I'm drawing
story?
a blank.
What was the story? How did
Well,
you end up at UAB?
yeah. So Marcus Grossman, one of the receivers that went to UAB with me, from California, he uh, he was working at the time. It was the spring after my first fall there. He was working at the time. He had just finished up getting his AA degree, so he wasn't in spring practice technically with us, but he texted me one morning and was like, "Yo, I need you to come throw to me. The coaches from UAB here want to watch me work out since I missed practice yesterday because of work." And I just so happened to skip class, and so I was like, "Yeah, man, give me like 15, I'll be there." So I rode my bike over there and met him, met the coaches. It was Coach Vincent, Coach Smith, the OC and receivers coach, and put on a little show for him, man. Impressed him a little bit, so I got an opportunity.
That's wild. So, what did you think when you came out to UAB and toured the facilities? Because you guys had just had the new facilities built, I'm pretty sure, but you were still playing over there at Legion Field.
Yeah, it was cool, man. So how I went to UAB, like I said, that workout there, um, to me, coming out of, high school and going to California at, a young age, I was getting a little homesick. So when they came and saw me, offered me a position to come play with them, I mean, I didn't even think twice about it. A chance to come back home, closer to my family, closer to my friends. I didn't even go technically visit. I just like packed up my stuff and went. But when I got there, it was really like the first weekend I was there was more of a visit, but it was really cool. Those facilities were brand new. So I mean, the new indoor, the new locker room, um, all the practice fields. I mean, it was insane. Legion Field was a little sketchy though, as we know. It's an old, but it's historic. But
Yeah,
those facilities are top notch now, man.
yeah. Go ahead and fill me in on those locker rooms at Legion Field.
Oh man, it's like how do you even put it? You definitely feel the history. They're I mean they're a little old, they're a little rugged, but when you're in there with your teammates, it doesn't really matter. But it was a little different from our locker room we were used to practicing in every day. You know, brand new, super nice, and then going over to these little. Honestly, it wasn't even like my high school locker room. It was a little bit worse than my high school locker room. So,
That's crazy. I mean, well, going back to your visit and everything, how did you feel that you fit in with, Coach Clark and Coach Vincent? Because now they have Coach Dilfer, but while you were there, Bill Clark was the coach. How did you feel like you fit into that quarterback room?
well, I fit in pretty well with them. Coach Clark, I mean, legendary football coach. I mean, people can, you can say what you want, but I mean, that man's a legend. You know, bringing back a program that literally bringing it back from the dead. I mean, that's almost unheard of. He'll definitely have a 30 for 30 one day, because that's just the kind of man he was. I mean, he was a hard worker, and he instilled it in all of us. Same with Coach Vincent. I mean, and I want to give Coach Reeves his credit too, the DC from when I was there. I mean, those three guys, they just, built this. I mean, they've literally built the program from scratch, and so for them to come in and take over a program and start from the ground up, starting with the facilities and then working on from there, it was really impressive.
What was their plan? Their whole, the culture they were trying to set, because like you said, they were bringing it back from doing away with the program.
Well, we all had a chip on our shoulder. Everybody there had a chip on their shoulder. I mean, because we did have a little pub, from not having a program and then coming back. And their first year back went 6-6, get the new facilities, and then I come in and after that first year that they had, and you could already tell that the culture was starting to get set. But I mean, it takes years for that to happen. And I mean, they pounded it in us every day. You're going to be champions. You're going to be champions. You just have to keep that mindset. You just have to keep pushing every single day to work for it. Nobody's going to give it to you, especially at a little school like UAB that's coming back from the dead. We have to earn everything that we have here, and you guys have to go fight for it. And that's it. But that's what we did every day, man.
Well, playing off of that culture topic, what were those summer workouts and fall camp like?
Oh man, I mean, they were intense. Like I said, they were trying to develop a championship football program, and in order to do that, people have to work hard, and it has to be intense. Um, I thought I was going to die that first summer, man. I thought I was going to die, but you get through it, and then you get to fall camp, and I mean, 5:30 to 11 o'clock at night, and every single day. But always kept us working, always pushed us mentally, physically, emotionally. But without them doing that, I mean, I could definitely say I wouldn't be the man I am today, and I'm sure everybody else from that football team can say the same. They just instilled such a work ethic and a grind in us, just not even to be football players, but to be better people, better, brothers, husbands, dads. They just everything that they did was to help us. And it really and then it showed on the football field.
Well, when game week would roll around, what was the, approach? What was the vibes around the facility and the film room and practice during game week?
Just week in, week out, really. Um, it was really just the plan. Stick with your plan. Work on what you know, I don't know how to put it. You got to start with what you're good at, keep going from there. But um, I mean, they just always had such a good plan in place. It didn't even make sense. Coach Vincent, one of the smartest guys that I've ever been around, and how he approached, game planning wise. I mean, we were going to run it down your throat and then throw it deep on you. And, we had the ability, we had Spencer Brown, pounding it up the middle. And we had, quick guys on the outside, Myron Mitchell, Austin Watkins. I mean, you couldn't catch them,
Yeah.
and so, I mean, we were definitely ground and pound offensively, and that defense was just in your face. They would pressure, pressure, pressure.
Oh, yeah. I know about Spencer Brown. That's a Mortimer Jordan product right there.
Oh yeah, that's a dog right there.
Hey, I mean, like we mentioned, UAB was bringing their program back. how much of a factor did that play with that team that you were on in the recruiting class, that came in with you of, kind of, hey, we're going to set a new culture and bring UAB football back better than it was before. And how did you see, that kind of trickle down to the younger players? Because you guys, won a conference championship and won the Boca Raton Bowl in 2019. So how did you see all that play out?
Oh, that was a crazy year, man. That was my first fall there, and just to see, like I said, I mean, we just with everybody having that chip on your shoulder. I mean, they were pounding into us. We're going to win a championship. We're going to win a championship, and we truly believe that. And I mean, just to go in every single day, 5 a.m. workouts, get after it. Leave nothing in the weight room, leave nothing on the field at practice, leave nothing in the meeting rooms. Just give everything your 100% all, and just watch what else falls into place, right? Um, and I mean, that's exactly what happened. We just all, I mean, every person on that team busted their ass day in, day out. Everybody from, like I said, Spencer Brown, most recognized in our team that year, to freshmen coming in on the scout team. We just were all hungry for that championship. And I mean, nobody else can say that they've been a part of a football team that come back from the dead and 2 years later won a conference championship. Like, that doesn't happen. And so for us to be able to do that and be a part of something so special, I mean, like I said, there's going to be a 30 for 30 about them one day for sure. I mean, it's historic, and I'm really glad that I got to be a part of that.
So tell me the story about you were in the same Elite 11 group with Stetson Bennett, and tell me about how he got the nickname the Mailman.
Oh man, yeah, that was a long time ago, man. So it was the group. I think it was me, Stetson, Cade Weldon, um, Jake Allen. There was probably one or two others. Um, foggy memory from it being, shoot, I guess 7 or 8 years ago now, and I guess seven. And I don't know if it was Trent Dilfer or somebody with him. And it's funny how this all comes back around with Trent Dilfer being at UAB now, with him being a big part of the Elite 11 for so many years. But uh, there was this smaller size kid wearing this old postal USPS hat, and he was slinging the shit out the ball, man. I mean, definitely. I mean, in my opinion, best one at the camp that day. You know, better than all the 4 or 5 star kids that were there. He got a shot in the pressure chamber there at the end and lit it up. Um, and I want to say it was probably about halfway throughout the day. Either Trent Dilfer or one of his, close assistants that was helping him out noticed that he was slinging the rock, man. And we were like, man, he's just delivering it like a mailman, because he had that hat on and it stuck somehow. And so we all started calling him mailman. And I mean, years later, here we are still calling him mailman. Seeing that on, TV it's just funny to me. Crazy.
Yeah, that's wild. That's funny. I've always wondered, how that nickname came about. But David, man, I appreciate you taking the time to join the podcast, chat a little UAB football. Man, hope you have a good night.
Appreciate you, man. Yeah. Big shout out to Coach Clark, Coach Vincent, real quick. Coach Reeves as well. Like I said, I mean, they did something super historic, and I'm just glad that I could be a part of it.